Coming up on Cronkite NewsWatch.
A veteran's suicide leaves Washington asking, when is too much too much?
Plus, a Phoenix historical park gets a makeover to the tune of $115 million.
And
I can't do everything that my fingers used to do, but I got the next best thing.
a high demand for prosthetics in Arizona has a new bill creating stricter requirements.
In-depth, insightful, innovative. Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite NewsWatch. I'm Zara Tallier.
And I'm Shane Dwyer. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Budget talks have been delayed again, and some representatives are saying their needs are not being met.
But House Republicans just can't seem to agree on a budget. 6 representatives even went as far to walk out as last night's meeting. Reporter Brittany Thomas has more about what happened at the Capitol. Brittany?
House Republicans were in meetings all morning negotiating. The big sticking points are funding for child protective services and education. The Capitol filled with lobbyists waiting for the budget floor session to begin. There was still no decision by 3:30 when the House postponed a vote on the budget. There are 6 holdouts, including Representative Heather Carter and Representative Doug Coleman, who want to see more money in the budget for education and child protective services. The majority of Republicans I talked to liked the budget as it is.
We currently have a group that is attempting to block the budget by requesting far more in terms of spending than the state can afford. We're negotiating with that group, and we're hoping that we can bring them over to our side.
The Republicans in the caucus have been trying to hold that previous budget together to little or no success. So I think at this point, Heather Carter and company is going to be going to the Democrats and probably doing much like they did last year.
I talked to Representative Coleman, and he says despite speculation, the group of 6 does not have a plan to strike a deal with the Democrats. Live in the Media Center, Brittany Thomason, Cronkite News.
And that budget is not making child advocacy groups very willing to support it. As Cronkite News reporter Megan Thompson explains, they think the state is putting our kids on the back burner.
Although the kids here today may not have understood what was going on around them. But the large crowd at the Capitol sure did, saying it's the lawmakers who don't understand what these kids need.
The first 5 years are the most formative years of a person's life, and they are being neglected. As a state, they're being neglected right now.
Many say the battle over the Arizona state budget is putting the children in the crossfire, with more funding needed to support childcare.
The budget that came out of the Senate leaves some glaring gaps for kids. There is nothing in it that prevents child abuse and neglect. And after everything that's happened and all that we know, that is a huge mistake.
They say it's ironic that while the CPS director has laid out a plan to take care of our state's neglected children, that all the money that's needed to make the program work is not contained in the budget.
So some of the challenges, it seemed like, especially with the high turnover, was we just couldn't keep up.
Former CPS worker Ashley Kelly knows how bad things are. She told me she never felt supported by CPS or by lawmakers.
I'm making life choices for people at 22 years old right out of school, and I'm getting thrown in there. I don't, beats me.
The group of child advocates is hoping that the words they speak inside the historic Capitol building is heard by the lawmakers in the House.
We have a chance now. We have a system in severe crisis. Let's build it correctly. Let's not undercut it and underfund it like we've done for so many years, because it will only cripple and topple.
At the Capitol, Megan Thompson, Cronkite News.
This issue coming to light on the heels of the controversy surrounding CPS, where more than 6,000 cases went uninvestigated. The organization has since been abolished by the governor, now calling the organization the Arizona Care Team.
A new bill gives parents of special needs students access to additional funding through the Arizona Empowerment Scholarship account. Parents no longer have to go through the school district for verification. Instead, they get verification through an independent contractor. But not everyone supported the bill, arguing new students would receive funding rather than students who previously attended charter schools.
Veteran suicides are a growing problem, one observed both inside and outside our Capitol today in somber events. Cronkite News reporter Mackenzie Scott has more from our Washington, D.C. bureau. Mackenzie?
It was an emotional day at the Capitol, where one group looked back to honor the dead, while lawmakers looked forward to possible solutions. Each American flag represents a life. 1,892 flags were planted on the National Mall to represent the number of veterans that committed suicide just 86 days into the new year. Army veteran and Tucson native Jim Reed, who served with Arizona icon Pat Tillman, is now part of an organization that advocates for veteran suicide prevention, says that more needs to be done to prevent veteran suicides.
We really have to take this on head on. We cannot, passively think it's going to fix itself.
In the Capitol, meanwhile, Congresswoman Kyrsten Sinema joins other lawmakers taking that issue head on. A tearful Sinema read the suicide note of Iraqi war veteran Daniel Summers.
Not only am I better off dead, but the world is better off without me in it.
Sinema says the number of suicides amongst veterans are unacceptable.
We need a lot more action. 22 a day is unacceptable. 1 a day is unacceptable, but 22 is absolutely uncalled for.
Which is why she introduced H.R. 3387, the Classified Veterans Access to Care Act. The bill allows the Department of Veteran Affairs to give the appropriate mental health care to those with classified knowledge. Reed, who found out today that a Navy SEAL he used to work with committed suicide, says that although he got the support he needed, many do not.
My transition has been difficult, and I've done it with a lot of resources and degrees and certainly coping mechanisms and a supportive family. There's a lot of young people that get out of the military without that type of support, and their transitions are much more difficult than mine.
I'm just saying. Sinema's bill was one of 9 heard by the House Veterans Affairs Committee today, and if passed, will be one of over 900 military prevention programs. But according to Reed, not all of them are working. Live in Washington, Mackenzie Scott, Cronkite News.
Since the opening of healthcare.gov, more than 6 million people have signed up for insurance under the Affordable Care Act. White House officials announced the milestone today, and it puts the Obama administration ahead of its revised projections with a few days to go before the March 31st deadline. The Congressional Budget Office most recently estimated 6 million Americans would enroll in 2014, down from its initial 7 million projection.
And the House passed a measure to give doctors a reprieve from a looming 24% cut in their payments from Medicare. The bill passed by a surprise voice vote after an hour-long delay amid doubt that it could muster the two-thirds vote required under fast-track procedures. Several senior Democrats opposed the bill, saying it would set back efforts to find a permanent fix to a flawed Medicare payment formula. It advances to the Senate, which hopes to pass it before a Monday deadline.
A bill in the state legislature would tighten regulations on the sale of prosthetics. But as Kimberly Hariza found out, the growing demand for artificial limbs is something one Arizona innovator knows firsthand.
Imagine losing something that you use every day for almost everything you do.
I'm 57 years old. I've always had my fingers. I use my hands with my job. What am I going to do?
Prosthetics can be a lifesaver, and they have improved dramatically over the years.
We've went from plug sockets, wood sockets, to laminated, lightweight carbon fiber sockets, taking legs that weigh, 14, 15, 20 pounds, down to weighing 4 pounds, 10 pounds.
House Bill 2648 establishes a minimum standard for care and fitting, setting requirements for the sale of prosthetics.
Well, it pertains to the safety and health of the patient and to a quality of life going forward.
The bill prohibits insurers from reimbursing healthcare providers if they do not meet certain qualifications. But some people can't afford prosthetics. Howard Camerata found an alternative.
We came up with this magical glove here.
His friend Casey found the design online and made it come to life.
Kind of modified the parts to fit Howard's descriptions.
They used the models online and got a 3D printout of the glove. Then they used everyday items found at Walmart and Home Depot to put it all together.
I can't do everything that my fingers used to do, but I got the next best thing.
In Phoenix, Kimberly Hariza, Cronkite News.
Camerata and Barrett say they sell prosthetics for the cost of making them. Meanwhile, House Bill 2648 passed through the Senate committee and will now move to the floor.
An international sewer line in Nogales is getting some attention. State Representative Rosanna Gabaldon wants to bring attention to a project that's important to those living on the border. The sewer line runs from Nogales, Sonora to a wastewater plant in Rio Rico, Arizona. It carries up to 13 million gallons of wastewater every day, and Gabaldon says the line is dilapidated and we need to take action or there could be serious problems.
I believe as a state representative that Arizona needs to step up and say that let's be part of the solution that is facing the city of Nogales.
Gabaldon also says a federal study that will determine the best way to fix the line starts in May and will take just over a year to complete.
Arizona's unemployment rate is down again. The State Department of Administration reports that the state's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate for February was 7.3%. That's down from 7.5% in January. Experts say Arizona's economy added more than 17,000 non-farm jobs in February, an increase that's significantly smaller than the 10-year average gain of over 26,000 jobs. About 2/3 of the jobs added in February are in government and 1/3 in the private sector.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
Time is money, and wasting your time on the roads is frustrating. But starting tomorrow, your commute might be a little shorter.
And downtown Phoenix is full of life, but grassy fields don't scream excitement. We'll show you new plans to enhance one local park.
Imagine being stranded.
Needing 16,000 points for them.
From TV banks to computers.
Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
Kiss me. That's my kind of man. You've been creating quite a stir.
The winter you've been waiting for is on PBS.
You must choose either death or life.
All the drama.
There's going to be changes at downtown.
It's getting harder to say no.
The adventure.
The waves are breaking all around us.
And the spectacle of nature.
We're going to show how special these animals are.
Come in from the cold. Support the one place that can take you any place.
West Valley drivers, relief is in sight. The Loop 101 at Maryland Avenue received a facelift, adding 2 new ramps that will make your commute through Glendale a little faster.
This is an area that can get a lot of traffic, particularly during Cardinals home games, Coyote games, other events that happen at the arenas over here. So these ramps will increase access to this area by 1/3, and it'll really help traffic flow in the area during these.
The Loop 101 between Bethany Home Road and Glendale Avenue has 2 new HOV on and off ramps connecting to the existing Maryland Avenue overpass. This $11.7 million project was funded partly by the MAG Regional Transportation Fund passed by voters in 2004. The project was fast-tracked because of the upcoming Super Bowl and all of the other professional sports in the area. Construction on these ramps began in October 2013. With the accelerated completion date, the ramps will be open to drivers tomorrow evening.
After a year of being undrivable, US 89 is now on the road to recovery. The Arizona Department of Transportation named Tempe-based FNF Construction, the contractor, to begin a pre-construction plan for the highway. It was just over a year ago that something triggered a landslide on Highway 89 affecting the drive between Bitter Springs and Page. The repair is expected to cost $25 million and will move the road about 60 feet towards Echo Cliff, creating a buttress to stabilize the road. Phoenix, as you know it, is getting a huge overhaul. Reporter Kaylee Formicello went to Margaret Hans Park to show us what's to come.
When these plans are revealed, people will see that Hans Park goes from being fairly invisible to being really kind of the gateway to downtown.
Hans Park is situated smack dab in the middle of downtown Phoenix, running from 5th Avenue to 3rd Street.
and it's about to undergo a $115 million renovation.
Hance Park has been around since 1992, but beyond all the tents and construction, it's not much more than green grassy field. Well, that all changes today with Enhance, a new park plan which includes a restaurant, a beer garden, and even a zip line. Phoenix residents, in collaboration with Parks and Rec, have been hard at work designing the new park, pouring in 1,500 emails and over 3,000 Post-it notes with ideas for the renovation. And this morning, they began setting up for the big reveal. Ann Wheat, director of Parks and Rec here in downtown and fourth-generation Phoenix native, has seen firsthand the community's impact on its parks.
When I look at this design plan, I see the community's imprint all over it.
Nicole Tiao, a downtown Phoenix resident, says if the park became more than just big green fields, she could see a lot of people flocking to it.
I think that if they end up adding all these things and they have the budget for it, it would be really great for the city.
While the budget for the 10-year project is still being worked out by the community, the celebration has already begun. In Phoenix, Kaylee Formicella, Cronkite News.
And the festivities will be heating up at Hance Park tonight at 5 with a live concert and the grand design reveal.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
Choosing the right bait is important when fishing, and a new program may have Arizona fishermen casting a line more often.
It's a beautiful day, but what does our weekend look like? I'll have that in our forecast next.
NewsWatch is one of the really big things I will always remember for the rest of my life.
You're lugging around all of your equipment, you are doing all of the work, and that's what makes it so fulfilling to me.
Being an anchor, I think, it's a privilege. I enjoy every moment of it.
Seeing your show on air, it is one of the most surreal feelings ever.
What if we could unlock every mystery?
We're at the beginning of a revolution. That's a huge discovery.
That's never been done before, ever, anywhere.
Touchdown confirmed.
No one feeds on curiosity like PBS. Give to your PBS station so future generations can keep asking, what if?
I am a chef. I cook for a living. And I think of PBS as a window to the world. That kind of place where you feel you are part of the story. I want to be part of every possible world is out there. That's when things become really amazing. And when you are able to see stories that make you wonder, makes you think, that's what really makes PBS so meaningful. And that's the kind of TV we need to be supporting today.
Fishing is something that takes patience, and sometimes you don't always get a bite. But Arizona Game & Fish is trying to help your odds. Cronkite News reporter Alina Lee has more.
The Arizona Game and Fish Department have just fully stocked the community fishing waters all across Phoenix and Tucson. I made it out to Evelyn Hallman Park to see if I could catch a glimpse of the action. We're used to seeing fish pulled out of a lake, not poured in. And these fish traveled halfway across the country on wheels.
They are aerated. They pump liquid oxygen into the tanks to keep the fish alive.
More than 15,000 pounds of catfish and bluegill were transported in large mobile fish tanks to waters across the state.
They make it all the way from Arkansas, so it's been a long haul for these fish.
Local fisherman Steve Williams and his sons have already gotten a bite.
But we caught a bass and a blue and a perch, so getting pretty good luck.
And their secret?
Minnows. Minnows, but they die fast.
But Williams says it's not the fish that he's most excited about.
I catch and release. I do it for fun. It's a good time for me and my boys. We come out here and enjoy the air, the nature.
And his sons agree.
I think it brings me and my dad, our family closer together.
And that's exactly what Arizona Game and Fish want to achieve with their new fish supply.
They can grab the fishing poles, grab the kids, come on out and try your luck at, catching a memory.
The lake stocking is just one part of it. Arizona Game and Fish also lowered prices for fishing licenses and created a community fishing license that lasts a full year from the time of purchase. I'm Alina Lee, Cronkite News.
Taking a look at our satellite radar, you can see that there is a ton of storm activity all throughout the nation right now, especially up here in the Great Lakes area and down in this Gulf Coast area near Texas and Florida. They're getting hit pretty hard, and these storms are going to continue to make their way east throughout the region, and it will disperse in just a few days. But here in Arizona, we're not going to feel a thing, just a few light winds. But the same cannot be said about the rest of the nation. Up here in International Falls, they are at a cold 30 degrees, not very spring-like weather there. 48 degrees in Chicago, 59 in St. Louis, and a beautiful day in Dallas. They are at 80 degrees. And it's also a very beautiful day here in Phoenix. We're currently at 73 degrees. We do have some clouds and some wind moving about 6 miles per hour, and that temperature is going to drop as we get into the night. As you can see, Phoenix, we're going to be at about 55 degrees as our low for tonight, but that's nothing compared to how cold it's going to be up in the high country. 27 in Flagstaff, 25 in the Grand Canyon. But not to worry, those temperatures are going to go right back up tomorrow, and it's going to make for a beautiful day all across Arizona, and we're going to be at a high of 81 in Phoenix, so another beautiful day. And taking a look at our 5-day forecast, enjoy the sun while you can, because the clouds are coming on Saturday. They're going to stay with us through the weekend into the beginning part of next week, but we are still going to have really warm temperatures, 87 on Saturday, 86 Sunday, and we're going to cool off on Tuesday, 77 degrees. I'm Lauren Wells, Cronkite Weather.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
There's game-changing news today in college sports, and it's bigger than March Madness. And the fact that I have a Northwestern Wildcat logo behind me, you know this has to be good.
A tradition of excellence, integrity, and innovation.
The second I came in, I fell in love with the program.
The Cronkite School propels students into the new era of journalism.
Students are learning.
Digital, entrepreneurial, and collaborative labs encourage students to shape the future of the industry, and the industry is watching.
We have come here to meet with students at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism.
The Cronkite School, the journalism school for the digital age.
What if television could sweep us away to another time and place?
Very nice, my lady.
And could take us from the Gilded Age to the Great War. From the heat of the chase to the heart of a queen. No one tells stories like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring stories like these to life. What if television could remember the heroes we honored, the music we danced to, the dreams we chased?
The hope still lives, and the dream shall never die.
No one tells our nation's story like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring America's story to life.
The big news in sports today is that Northwestern University football players can now unionize. This could potentially change the game for college sports. The National Labor Relations Board has ruled in favor of Northwestern athletes who want to form a union. The players' petition was a way to get a seat in the bargaining table in college sports. The players want better medical coverage, concussion testing, 4-year scholarships, and the possibility of being paid. Former Wildcat quarterback Kane Coulter thinks the decision is the right thing for college athletes.
I believe we're already being paid, and we're being paid in the form of scholarship and stipend checks in that sense. The question isn't whether we should be paid, it's whether we should have guaranteed on certain benefits and certain resources should be provided to us. What this action was is finally getting players a voice.
But do Arizona players feel like they have a voice? Our Cronkite sports reporter Jeff Platt has been on the phones all day trying to get a reaction. Jeff, what's the buzz around this decision?
Nick, in terms of a reaction, I tried calling universities all around the state, and the 3 public universities, ASU, U of A, and NAU, all declined to comment because they said the ruling only affects private universities. Now, GCU is another matter entirely. They said they're looking at the ruling, but don't want to comment until they have a better idea of where this is going. But Larry Scott, the Pac-12 commissioner, did send us a statement. He said, "We disagree with the ruling and believe that the health and economic issues raised by the student athletes are best handled as part of the collegiate model between universities and their students." Now back in Chicago, the Northwestern University will appeal the ruling saying players are students, not employees. Live in the newsroom, Jeff Platt, Cronkite Sports.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, my bracket is busted, but that's no excuse to turn off the television. It's the Sweet 16, baby. And based on last weekend's craziness, I cannot wait to see which 4 teams survive this weekend. There are still 3 double-digit seeds remaining, and 2 of them are actually playing right now. Dayton's up by 7 against Stanford, 5 minutes to play in the first half, and Wisconsin and Baylor just tipped off. Also, 2 more Pac-12 schools play tonight, and Arizona is looking to make its 10th Elite 8 appearance. Head coach Sean Miller is looking back to the last time they made the Elite 8.
Played a very memorable game against Duke and lost a heartbreaker to UConn in the Elite 8, and San Diego State was also here. That first night when we played Duke, they played UConn. So it's kind of ironic that we find ourselves back, both of us.
Well, the Suns had another big night on the hardwood. Phoenix started to pull ahead in the third. The steal by Eric Bledsoe, and woo, nice reverse layup on the other end. Suns up 23. Wait, did I just fall asleep? It's a game now? John Wall races down the court and finishes with the slam. I guess that's how you do the John Wall. And a 3-point game, final minutes. Goran Dragic drives to the hoop but kicks it out to Bledsoe. Don't give him any space, Washington, but Phoenix fans, you could breathe. Suns hold on to win 99-93. That's 5 straight W's for the Suns. And the Suns weren't the only team streaking last night, as the Sun Devils took the first of 5 baseball games in the Territorial Cup. A humongous 6th inning. They scored 10 runs, beating the Wildcats 14-6. And now taking things over for the Coyotes, they're hoping they could borrow some of Arizona State's offense tonight in New Jersey. The Yotes are currently leading 1-0 just about to start the second period, and they need this victory because they are barely holding on to the final playoff spot in the West with less than 10 to play. That's all for now. Nick Merrick, Cronkite Sports.
Thanks, Nick. That's it for Cronkite NewsWatch tonight.
Thanks for joining us. Good night.